we've gotten so much response on people saying that they love the first 15, so we decided we'd supersize it today, bring you the full 60, an entire hour of the latest headlines, celebrity, pop culture news, a couple of surprises. We're also today announcing the winner of our co-host viewer challenge. Everybody voted for this person. This person, a lot of people got votes. We had a top 5. It came down to the wire. The winner doesn't know yet. We're going to surprise her with the announcement later today.
Or him.
Also, or him. Could be a him. Also, actor and director Ed Burns is coming. He's opens up about family life with his wife, Tony Burns, and his new Hollywood movie. And so, yeah. Now, last time you were here.
Yeah, you said you were going to come and see my play. What did you think?
So,
did you love it?
So, yeah. Yeah.
They told me I could give you a hard time.
Well, I felt you were a guest on the show.
I was
here,
a guest, yes.
Talking about your new play on Broadway, and yeah, I said I would come, and I haven't.
And they got blinded and couldn't.
Yeah, I know
really
that's
did.
my excuse. I got blinded. I'm sorry. I couldn't see anything. And my eyes still hurt, particularly seeing theater. No, I want to come. I just, I work 3 jobs, so I really.
I understand. It's hard. It's hard to get to the theater. I did actually have.
We went.
Oh yeah, they went.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
They did.
They
have
enjoyed
time.
it. Yeah. Well, they only have one job. See, this show.
It's a big job.
It's a big job. No, I mean they work around the clock. It's true, but I work at night, so I can't see a night thing.
We had a matinee yesterday at 3 o'clock, and we did. When I was on stage, in the middle of being super focused, I was like, oh, I think maybe Anderson is here today. And then I was all excited, and I thought, I'm going to dedicate my performance to him. So even though you didn't see it, my performance yesterday in Dead Accounts was dedicated to you.
Wow. Wow.
Aww. It was awesome.
The play is Dead Accounts.
Yes.
And you're in it. Katie Holmes is in it.
Yes.
Are you enjoying it?
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah?
It's so fun.
It must be great to be, I mean, it's like having an audience like this, having that instant reaction.
My audience has never cheered for me the way you guys have, so thank you, and feel free to tell people how to clap and yell. It's been really fun. We had a really crazy thing happen. There's this moment where the doorbell's supposed to ring. Mm-hmm. This is why theater is so fun, because the doorbell's supposed to ring, and it's very dramatic, and the doorbell didn't ring, and it didn't ring, and it didn't ring, and
so what do you do?
You just start talking. Thank God it's not Shakespeare, because you really can just talk, and he started he was like, oh, wait, I think I heard something. Did you hear that? It was so cute. Norbert was our star of the play. He was going on and on, I think, did you hear that? And then the other, the woman who plays the mom, Jane Howdyshell, she's like, I think I did hear that.
So what, did the person just forget to ring the doorbell?
No, it turns out that the battery on our stage manager's headset went out, so the sound guy never heard the cue, so then the assistant stage manager ran up 4 flights of stairs backstage and screamed the cue, and then after they're like, did you hear that? I think I heard that. I did hear that. There is someone outside. Then the doorbell rang, and they're like, I knew it.
That's funny.
And then I entered.
Then you entered. That's great. Well, this weekend, I was very thrilled. Saturday Night Live kind of poked fun at me, Seth Meyers, who I'm a big fan of. I think is so incredibly talented.
He's so good.
By the way, I work out at the same gym as him from time to time.
Really?
Yeah, he's in very good shape. And I see him running, he wears a hat, and I was always too intimidated to actually talk to him.
Right.
And then one day he made fun of me on Saturday Night Live, so I felt that gave me license to go up and say hello to him. Because I am not one of these people where you see a celebrity and just because you're also on TV, you feel like, oh, I should go and say hello to that person because we're both on TV. Anyway, but he's a very funny guy, very nice guy. He made fun of me again this weekend. Take a look.
Anderson Cooper this week profiled a condition called photokeratitis after he temporarily blinded himself by not wearing sunglasses while on a boat. Ironically, the condition could also be caused by staring at Anderson Cooper in a white T-shirt.
It's funny. Seth Meyers is so funny. He hosts the ESPY Awards, which is I guess it's on ESPN. It's this a sports award show. And I don't really care about sports at all. But he was so funny the first time I saw him host it. I actually watched the entire award show just because he was such a good host and so funny. I didn't know who any of the people were. I didn't understand any of the awards, but I liked him. I only got about half of the jokes too because they were all sports related. So it was all about The touchdown. I'd be like, I don't know.
You're like, I love baseball.
You're right, exactly. Yeah. The other big story in the news today is the DJs involved in that radio hoax.
Yeah.
You know, they called the hospital where the Duchess of Cambridge, Catherine, was staying, and the nurse subsequently killed herself, which is just the most horrific thing you can possibly imagine. Anyway, they have now publicly apologized in a TV interview. Mm-hmm. I'll show you this. I'm curious to see what people think about this. Take a look.
Personally, I'm gutted.
There's not a minute that goes by that we don't think about her family and what they must be going through. And the thought that we may have played a part in that is gut-wrenching.
You know.
I'm very sorry and saddened for the family, and I can't imagine what they'd be going through. You know, it was never meant to go that far. It was meant to be a silly little prank that so many people have done before. This wasn't meant to happen.
So that was their very public apology. I will say, when I saw part of that apology, I thought it was I thought the tears, and it was a little too, I thought it was a little fake. When I first saw it, but for the actual content of what they're saying, I do think, you know, everybody hates these people now. Everybody is so angered and outraged at these DJs, and yet people listen to these radio shows every day.
I do.
On these radio shows every day in the United States and elsewhere, they all do these kind of hoaxes and these kind of pranks, and there's a huge market for it. I actually don't listen to them because I just don't like that kind of thing.
I love it.
You love it.
I do. I listen to morning shows. I love them.
Yeah, really?
But I actually always assumed that they were fake because a girlfriend of mine who's an actress in LA, a long time ago, she got paid by radio stations to be like the person that they called at like 5 in the morning. And she would play these different characters.
Well, it's funny you say that because in the United States, I think they are mostly fake now.
Okay.
In fact, someone else on our staff was saying they knew somebody who got paid to take these calls, pretending to be somebody they woke up. Because now there's all these laws in the United States about one-party consent. You can't put somebody's voice on the radio or on television without their prior approval.
You have to sign things. You have to sign a million things.
And I don't know if that's the same law in Australia, and if it is, clearly they did not follow that in this case, so they may be subject to some sort of investigation. But I found it interesting that in the States it's all fake. But you know, actually, I went over to my mom's this weekend, and she had written down this saying, which I actually think is kind of nice, which is, you know, be kind because, what was it? I'm maybe mulling it. Be kind because everyone you meet is going through a great battle, which I think is kind of a nice way to think about it. Everybody has struggles in their life, and everybody's struggling, and it's better to just be kind to people because the reality is we're all, you know, hanging by a very delicate thread and all trying to do our best. And I mean, to me, the bottom line is just such a shame. And clearly, this nurse was going through.
Clearly.
I mean, there must have been other things in her life as well.
Yeah.
But you never know what's going to set somebody off, and it's just a horrible story.
It's really sad.
Yeah. The thing that made me smile and laugh this weekend more than anything else, it was, did you all see the monkey in IKEA? Okay, this is a monkey got loose in an IKEA, where was this, in Toronto?
It was in Toronto, Ontario.
Wearing this, like, fancy house coat. This is the weirdest. I mean, and look at this shot. This is my favorite picture. I mean, this is the weirdest thing. I mean, it's weird on so many different levels. First of all, that someone had a monkey in their car as they went shopping to IKEA, and it somehow got out of their car and into the IKEA, I find bizarre. And then I mean, do you think the monkey was wearing this coat, or do you think the monkey picked up this coat at IKEA?
That's a monkey's coat. That coat, I can tell. He feels really comfortable in that jacket.
It's the most brilliant image I think I've seen in a longest time. I want to meet the monkey, and I want to see what else the monkey has as a wardrobe, because I mean...
It's adorable. It looks like it's made by UGG or something. Like it's like shearling, little double-breasted thing, which can be really slimming, by the way.
Yeah, and apparently it's illegal, actually, in, I guess it was Toronto, in this area, to have this kind of a monkey as a pet. You know, there are very strict laws now, for good reason, about having exotic animals. Even in New York City, there's very strict laws about what kind of exotic. Because I actually wanted to get a sloth.
No.
Because I love sloths.
Why?
I just think they're amazing. They're so cute and they're great. They also, sloths, they sleep for 15 hours a day, and they poop once every 2 days in the exact same spot. So it's very convenient.
Get a really old American bulldog. That's what I have.
Really?
Yes, he sleeps all the time.
No, but bulldogs have those breathing problems. Anyway, it turns out it's illegal in New York to have a sloth.
Oh.
And also, it's not a good idea to be having exotic animals because basically they're ripped out of the wild. And, you know, who knows how they're gotten. So it's not a good idea. But
a monkey in a coat is pretty awesome.
I know the monkey in the coat is pretty awesome. Anyway, we got to take a quick break. We'll have more coming up, the full 60, an update on one of the biggest news stories, the disappearance of Susan Powell. Remember her sister, and her father speaking out live, an exclusive update about a new twist in the case. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Judy Greer is my co-host. Very happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
Some really just some terrible news over the weekend that I want to tell you about from the headlines. A Navy SEAL was killed. It was announced over this past weekend. He's actually from Navy SEAL Team 6, which is the same unit which went down and hunted and killed Osama bin Laden. And he was killed apparently in a rescue effort for an American doctor who was kidnapped in Afghanistan, was being held hostage. The good news is they freed this doctor. Dr. Dilip Joseph was freed. He's now at Bagram Air Base recovering and being debriefed. But a real tragedy for not only the SEAL community, but for the entire country. And our thoughts go out to the SEAL's family. And obviously the SEAL has not been named at this point. You may remember there was a big news story 3 years ago, and we profiled this last year on the program. A woman named Susan Powell who went missing. That's Susan right there. She went missing. Her husband, Josh Powell, was never named as a suspect. Her husband claimed that he went out camping with his two young sons and came back and found that Susan was gone. The husband, earlier this year, he was never named a suspect. He took the kids, he moved to his father's house, and during a supervised visit with his sons, the husband, Josh Powell, locked the child case worker outside of the house and then murdered his two young sons and then killed himself in a home explosion. So it's just a horrible, horrible tragedy. Susan Powell has never been found. She's still missing. Now, another person in the family may hold a secret to what happened to Susan Powell. Josh Powell, her husband's father, Stephen Powell. The strange thing about him is he has now been arrested for and is serving a 30-month prison sentence on voyeurism charges. He was basically taking photographs of some neighbors, two young neighbors, in their bathroom. So that was a bizarre kind of side story to this. Now, the latest development is just a few days ago, authorities have released more than 4,500 photographs that turned out were taken by this man, Stephen Powell, who's currently in jail, and many of the images were of his daughter-in-law, Susan Powell, who's missing. So they've discovered that he was taking thousands of photographs of his daughter-in-law, his son's wife. It's a very strange twist in this. Joining us right now via satellite for an exclusive update is Susan Powell's father, Chuck, her sister, Denise, and their family attorney, Ann Bremner. I appreciate all of you being with us, and I'm so sorry it's here under these circumstances. And I mean, describe why these photos were released by police and what they actually show.
Well, they show an obsession, Anderson, and what it really is like a dangerous obsession, I think, from our vantage point, and I think the police vantage point. They were released because there were requests made by the Associated Press, and so these depictions were disseminated minimally, which we appreciate because they've shown discretion in the media by not showing all of the images. There's many of Susan. She's like walking in parking lots. These are spying type of pictures. It shows, we know she's not knowing that there's someone looking at her. There's pictures of her that he took with like a mirror under a door when she's in the bathroom. And there's thousands and thousands of pictures. He takes pictures of himself too, and then he takes pictures of people that look like Susan Powell. And then women just unbeknownst to them, you know, around the city streets in Tacoma, Olympia, and around the surrounding areas. So thousands of photographs, and also there's tens of thousands of pages of journals that he wrote just about Susan Powell.
And out of respect, we're not showing, obviously, any of these photographs. Chuck, Thursday was the third anniversary, the third-year anniversary of Susan's disappearance. Are police doing enough to find out what happened?
Well, we don't talk to the police a whole lot. They used to brief us weekly. Now it's about every 2 months or so we hear something. They give us encouragement when we talk to them, and when they tell us what they're doing, it sounds reasonable. So I believe they are doing everything they feel they can.
Denise, how are you dealing with all this? I mean, it's 3 years. It's not knowing. How are you dealing with it?
Day by day. I have a lot of kids. I have 4 kids of my own that miss their Aunt Susan, and they have to deal with it in school, and everyone now knows who they are. So I have to just be strong for them and work with my children on accepting her being gone.
Did you know that there were, I mean, were there issues between this couple, I mean, between your daughter and her husband? I mean, did you have suspicions about him early on?
How about you?
Was that for me?
Oh, well, yeah, anybody, yeah.
This is for, oh, well, we were never really comfortable with Josh. He was a little different, but we didn't think he was particularly dangerous.
Wow.
And when, obviously, his whole story about going camping, I mean, Denise, did you ever believe that story?
He is kind of weird and strange enough to do it, but I didn't believe it for the fact of Susan would not allow him to do it without her. And if she did happen to go with him, she would be hassling them the whole time until he gave up and brought him home. She would never have let him take the boys camping. It was obviously against her will, and if...
Well, it was the middle of a snowstorm.
Yeah, she didn't, and if... I know that if he took the boys, she was not able to stop him.
And Chuck, I mean, 3 years, you know, a lot of times the media moves on and people move on. It's important, and it's one of the reasons we're talking about this today, is it's important to keep this story going in order to bring Susan home and in order to find out what happened to Susan.
Exactly. She's still missing. The story goes on for us, and as it does for many people who have missing children or loved ones.
Well, listen, we wish you the best, and you know, we wish you continued strength, and we hope we're able to figure out what happened to Susan soon. Chuck and Denise and Ann, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's hard to imagine, I mean, what it would be like to have a loved one missing for 3 years.
I am literally speechless.
Yeah.
It's really, really scary and sad.
It is just, and to have this latest development on these photographs released, to know that this man was spying on their daughter for so long.
How
just,
awful.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, perhaps he holds some sort of clue to what might have gone on, and if he does, hopefully he'll say something about it. We got more of the Full 60 coming up, including some of the biggest headlines from People magazine. They're going to be joining us, talking about Kate Middleton, some information about her, whether or not, actually the royal family is saying they may not get a full-time nanny. That would be a big change in the way they do business.
Yeah.
Also some stuff from Miley Cyrus and others. We'll be right back.